disease as the #1 killer in this country. The reason why these things keep going on is because, here's what the Lord told me some time ago, and I put the Bible on the floor as he told me. He said, now walk away from it. And as I began to step away from it, he said, now the further you begin to walk, me talking about humanity, away from what I said. First of all, the more you begin to walk in darkness about any particular issue. Because to walk in the light of what God said to me, I got to stay on the principle of the word. So the more I walk away from it, and this is what we have done, we have walked away from the wisdom of God like the prodigal son did, and we begin to walk further and further away, and we've gotten so far into health darkness to where we have no idea that God set principles as to how to govern the physical body. What we got to do is bring people back home to the wisdom of God, get them out of the hog pen living lifestyle of the medical industrial complex that is sucking the life out of people. Do I appreciate doctors and hospitals? Of course. Yeah. I think that we have a great system on diagnosis, but we are miserable on treatment. Now, if that was not the case, then why have we not found a cure for cancer when Richard Nixon declared war on cancer back in the 70s? That's right. We haven't found a cure because that ordeal was never about a cure in the beginning. That's correct. It was about a deal between Richard Nixon running for president and a pharmaceutical executive who told Nixon, if I will help you get into office, if you will pass a bill that basically gave the pharmaceutical corporation access to public dollars. It was a deal that they brokered from the very beginning. It was never intent to find a cure for cancer. Because it really doesn't make sense that you could put people on the moon and it take you 50 years and yet you have not found a cure for cancer. That's correct. Well, the reality is that the cures for cancer were around long before they declared war on cancer. But what they have done, they have hidden those cures from the American public. I'll tell you, some of the natural ways to keep cancer from developing, go right to some practical stuff. Some of the natural ways to keep cancer from developing is to go back to some of the wisdom that Hippocrates said even hundreds of years ago. He taught his medical students. He said, teach your patients to eat garlic and onions on a regular basis because of the mechanism that's inside of garlic and onions that will put brakes on free radicals and things that are cancerous in nature from developing. Teach them to eat garlic and onion. But there's some other things that you can do. I take what I call natural chemo on a regular basis. What I call God's chemo to fight free radicals from developing in the form of cayenne pepper. Oh my God, look at that. It's what I call natural chemo. I take it not some days, but every day. God bless you. Because I found out what it does. Now let me tell you how I deal with it. I take 1/3 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper and I put it in everything I do when it comes down to liquids. So usually 8 ounces. 1/3 of a teaspoon in 8 ounces of warm water. I get that water as warm as I can stand it because of how the warmth works inside the body. The body is 98.6, as we usually say. It is not the temperature of the cold, icy stuff that all the time we drink along with our meals that throws off our metabolism, that leads to weight gain and just messing up the system. So that's why you got to be careful not to drink real icy cold stuff while you're eating your meal. Furthermore, you need to be careful about drinking too many liquids, period, when you're eating your meal, because if you drink too much liquid like I used to do, then all your food is going to do is sit in a pool of water when it needs to be connected with the acids on the inside to break the foods down. This is why you find in certain cultures they drink tea along with their meal. They don't drink no icy cold. Asian places like that too. They don't drink that icy cold stuff because they understand some of the laws that govern the body. The body is governed by laws. A man was born into laws like fish were born into the water for growth, development, and all that kind of stuff. So we got to get back to the laws of God. So I take 1/3 of a teaspoon, and usually you'll see here I got the USDA organic kind because you got a lot of irradiated things like this that are out there. They're in bottles like this, but they're irradiated. In other words, they've been radiated. So you got to be very careful with that kind of stuff. 1/3 of a teaspoon, 8 ounces of water with 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. every day is the first thing that I put into my mouth. Why? Because I'm protecting my kidneys with the lemon juice and some other aspects. I'm helping my lymphatic system to work properly because of the lemon juice. But then the cayenne pepper is what I call natural chemo. I mean, everything from helping to deal with intestinal problems, circulation, protecting your heart, just an array. This is like one of the Rolls Royces of supplements to fight just about anything from colds, flu, mucus build up, you name it. Right here is the first thing that I take when I get up in the morning. The first thing that goes into my mouth, that regimen. All right. Then another one that helps fight diabetes, cancer. It's all over the internet. Turmeric. I put turmeric in. I'm going ahead and give you all some good solution. Remember, everything I do is 8 ounces. And I make enough of this. I get about 6-8 inches of ginger root, make a great big pot of ginger root. I slice the ginger root up very, very finely and boil it for about 10 to 15 minutes and leave the root in the pot. I leave the root in the pot because I want that, what started out white in color, I want it to turn almost brown. Why? Because then the heat has extracted the nutrients out of the root. And I've got it sitting there in the pot, waiting for me to warm that pot up the next day and take 8 ounces out. And then I put 2 tablespoons, 2 to 2.5 tablespoons of unrefined coconut oil in it every day. Of unrefined coconut oil. And then I put about a teaspoon, close to a teaspoon of turmeric inside of that. And why do I do that? I put it in there with the unrefined coconut oil so that the coconut oil will bond to the turmeric and make it more assimilable in the body. And that is the second thing that I drink right behind that first thing. I do it right behind it. I want 16 ounces of something like these powerful nutrients from this regimen and the lemon. Freshly squeezed lemon, not that lemon in that plastic container. I stay away from things that's got, come on now, come on, exactly. So freshly squeezed, and sometimes every now and then I might put a little taste of honey in it, raw organic honey and so forth. But these two guys right behind one another. And I'm telling you, within, if not before, within a short period of time, usually I'm having a bowel movement.
That's what we're supposed to do.
That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be.
I really want to bring a focus today on the mother of all diseases. The mother of all diseases. I want to really fine-tune our focus into the mother of all diseases. Anybody have any idea what the mother of all diseases is? So you have to hold on for the next 15, 20 minutes for me to tell you. All right. How long do I have to make sure I stay on point? Tell me now, I'll cut off ready.
45, 11:45.
Okay, 45 minutes? Oh, Lord, I can drop the atomic bomb, 3 of them by that time. You like that? I can drop 3 atomic bombs by that time. But no, good atomic bomb. Because once again, when the soldiers are armed with the necessary tools, weaponry, one individual can make a change. That's right. I go into restaurants and people look at me very funny because I ask the waiters a lot of questions. Could you tell me whether the fish that you all have up here, the salmon fish, is it wild?
That's right.
And then they'll go back and ask the manager, hold on, let me go back and ask the manager. There's a nut out here asking whether this fish is wild. And they go back with a nice smile. Because I'll tell them on a variety of things. Because I do not eat farm-raised salmon.
That's right, sir.
It is extremely dangerous.
That's right.
But if you look at most of the supermarkets out there nowadays, you can hardly find. It's like looking through a haystack looking for a needle trying to find wild sockeye and a salmon.
Yes, sir.
Because they've been slowly replacing them. They know what they're doing while we slept, the enemy sowed tares. So while Americans are sleeping, not being aware that very subtly they're making shifts and changes in what is in the supermarkets. You got to be very, very watchful of what you bring home from your supermarket. I shop Well, I don't have to do it so much now because I've trained my mind, but I shop with magnifying glasses of wisdom and knowledge. I do not pick up any old thing because it's packaged very nicely. That is very dangerous in an hour like this where there's so much dark, deep deception in the supermarkets. Because we don't know who raised our food, how they raised our food, and even what those foods do in the body.
That's correct.
So we got to be very, very careful there. Now, I don't know how I got into that. But we got to be watchful of even items that have no seed in them. I'm very leery of anything watermelon with no seed. You know, very leery. Those things are dangerous. Stay away from them like a rattlesnake. Don't believe the lies that the PhDs, the universities, the colleges will tell you that, well, you know, no, this is similar to the real. No, in order for that to be the case, man will have to be God.
My God.
Now, no man can create a ginger root the way God created ginger root.
Amen.
Or watermelon the way God created watermelon. It is literally impossible. They would have to be God to create something exactly like God. They would have to be God or greater than God. And God's the greatest scientist and nobody can match him. I don't care how much they lie. It contradicts the wisdom of the kingdom of God to say that we can produce a tomato like God produces. So what they're doing now, they put pig genes in tomatoes. And they put salmon genes in tomatoes too. They say, well, we can cause them to last longer. You better be watchful, and you've got to shop with a magnifying glass of skepticism when you go into the supermarkets. Because I'm telling you, they have already laid the platform in the supermarkets for their depopulation agenda. Anybody ever heard of atrazine? Azotic carbonamide? Codex alimentarius. Now you'd be surprised that everywhere I go, nobody knows, and it brings tears to me when I hear this, because how can you defeat an enemy that you have no knowledge about? You cannot defeat him. And these guys and other names like these names have become what the artillery or the mechanism of depopulation, like what Hitler had back in the 30s. Two dominant ways that he killed people was by starving them to death and poisoning them to death. The Spirit of God spoke to me and said that many people are poisoning themselves and starving themselves with the same food item. Because it's loaded with toxins, and usually when it's loaded with toxins, they've already denutrified it. Codex alimentarius is a large body of people that come from various nations of the world that meet on a regular basis to determine how much toxicity of this particular chemical is going to be in the food, how much nutrient is going to be in the food. They determine what goes onto the market. And the World Trade Organization told Codex alimentarius a few years ago, don't worry about food for the benefit of the folk. You ought to be concerned about the food for in its production so that the stakeholders can get their money. They're not concerned about your health. McDonald's is really not concerned about your health. They're concerned about their dollar. You know, this is why recently McDonald's has made the statement, well, we will start putting real chicken. Real chicken in our chicken McNuggets. That was just recently the statement was made. We will start putting the real stuff in it. So you mean to tell me you've deceived people all this long? All these years? Same thing with Subway. Subway decided about 2 years ago we will take azotic carbonamide out of the 9-grain bread. Their 9-grain bread that they've been serving people, and we looked up to their reputation. That's why, no, I don't go with that stuff now.
Yes, sir.
It was in their bread till about 2 years ago. By the way, azotic carbonamide is the same stuff that foamed mats are made out of. And mats that people exercise on, it's the same substance. In Singapore, if you're caught utilizing it, you get a $450,000 fine and 15 years in jail. A truck turned over in, I think it was New Jersey, or either New York, a few years ago, about 5 years ago now, that was carrying this particular substance, and it was so toxic they had to block off close to a mile to keep people from the toxicity of the substance that was in Subway's 9-grain bread that the American public was eating and had no knowledge it was in there. Well, how do you know that to be true, Dr. Ellison? Because they had a national commercial that most people weren't paying any attention to that said, on their national commercial for a number of months they ran it, no trans fats, no high fructose corn syrup, and at the bottom, no azoticarbonamide, and I saw it. And I knew what was going on.
Yes, sir.
You see, they had that stuff in there for years. And other items that they got in the American food supply. So what is my point there? You've got to know what you're buying. If it comes in a box, a can, a package, if it has a label, read that label. And if it's a word that a third grader can't understand, you might want to think second about picking that item up, or at least until, honey, where's my cell phone? At least until you use your smartphone to look that word up.
That's right.
It is. We're at that particular point in time. Let me get that. Another thing we need to do to avoid or help protect ourselves from these chemicals. Now, believe it or not, what I just shared with you, this stuff will help pull toxins out of your system. This stuff right here too. Some other stuff, bentonite clay.
Who?
I like that. Now this is what I'm waiting on, because usually when I get all sorts of gestures. Like the highest gesture that I got was, and I had all sorts of oh no, he ain't going there. I had all sorts of things, and I'm okay with that.
Yes,
but the highest one that was a pat on the back for me is when this lady stood up and said, I can't take it any longer. Literally out loud, I was in Greensboro. She said, somebody please put that man in his car and get him out of here. Because he is stepping all over my toes. I can't stand it any longer. Please get him out of here. But a safe thing to do nowadays is detoxify. Detox. That's where I started at.
Yes, sir.
And when I got on real natural good stuff, I literally went to the bathroom and dropped stuff in the stool, not by urination, 12 times in 2 days. And you can see I'm not a big frame guy. I was weighing about 184 at that time, and now my weight for the last 20 years or more had been like 174, 175, you know. But to safeguard ourselves from stuff that they are dropping through chemtrails. Anybody heard of chemtrails? Chemtrails. This is very, very serious. They are dropping lead and other inorganic stuff from the sky. When you see a long streak in the sky and it stays there for a long time, the airplane leaves what is called a contrail. But when they're dropping these chemicals, they are called a chemtrail. And they linger longer in the sky. And they're dropping them over heavily populated areas. So we got to be aware of that. So we have to think detoxification. This is why I admonish one of the things that my wife does. She does foot therapy, to where you can put your feet in that water through those machines that she got, and leave it in there through that half-an-hour process, and watch that water turn from white to a swamp, murky, greenish-looking color. And you're like, huh? All that came literally out of your body. And it's critical that we do things like that nowadays, because we're living in a toxic society.
Yes.
That's why I changed. Oh, another thing too. Remind me in my next statement. That's why I changed certain things. One thing, because I got so full of this stuff. This little thing right here on our phone to protect ourselves from cell phone radiation that Johnny Cochran and many people have died of and created brain tumors. We put this on our cell phone. I got it on my laptop, my iPad, on the desktop. We got it all over the place to protect ourselves from cell phone radiation. That is very, very critical. I think we brought 5 of them with us today if you'd like to get one of these. Q-links to help do that. So, yeah, going back to this. I'm sorry?
That's why I changed.
That's why I changed things in my home. Even when it comes down to the shaving cream that I use. I don't use this stuff in the supermarkets any longer. And you can get a lot of these items right from this company called LuckyVitamins.com and get them much cheaper. Yeah, LuckyVitamins.com. So I use a shaving cream that has no parabens, P-A-R-A-B-E-N-S, phthalates, or animal testing ingredients. Now, I'm not against animal stuff. I'm against how they do the animals. But parabens, I want you to note that word, P-A-R-A-B-E-N-S, and your phthalates, they call it phthalates, P-H-T-H-A-L-A-T-E-S. And women in particular, you got to watch it because of the makeup, because of the different products. They're in items like that. My wife wanted a body wash. You know, when I get the body wash, honey, and next thing I get a call, what's taking so long? Because I don't go in the supermarket until I found out. Once I found out a particular item, then it don't take me long. I can go in and come out. But usually if you ask me for something, and if it's got a label on it, I'm going to take my time to read that label. So parabens and phthalates, you have to watch them. They are very cancer causing. They're in toothpaste, soaps, deodorants, you name it. And the average American has no clue of this. All right, so I changed my shaving cream. Even my soaps, you have to watch out with your soaps. Oh, let me tell you, this stuff is the bomb. Oh, God,
soap.
is it African soap and the raw shea butter? I'm telling you all, it makes you feel heavenly. It makes your skin feel so good because it has no phthalates, no parabens, and all those chemicals in it. All right? By the way, I brought something showing when I do eat hot dogs, I eat the goodie. You see the one with the Hebrew nationals? You have to be careful with them because I found out that they had nitrites and nitrates in them.
They do use nitrates.
Yeah, cancer causes it. But yet they say we answer to a higher power and we're kosher, yet at the same time they're very deceptive. So I stayed away from those and I started using these, some years back. Toothpaste, we even changed our toothpaste. Notice fluoride free. Fluoride is one of those things that Hitler knows people and people have been using for years to cause people to be compliant, docile, and so forth. Oh yeah, so I even changed that. This fluoride is very, very dangerous. I had a dentist friend of mine who refused to tell his patients to go out and get fluoride toothpaste any longer. Another type of soap that is real good. Eggs from chicken that are allowed to get sunlight and fresh air.
Pastor Grace.
Those are the only ones that I eat. Now they cost more than the others, but I tell people right now, you pay later, pay now, or you're going to pay later. And Daddy will help us. Daddy will help us even financially and how to shop. Because I used to love Jell-O, and the Lord, I know, led me to where I can get a good, clean, pure Jell-O. Another thing that we do along with our meal intake is I make sure I have some type of oil like this. And I have the coconut oil, of course. Because, let me go back to this. Cancer fighter, diabetes fighter, arthritis fighter, pain fighter, all that is within this right here. Inside of this right here, a good fat. The body's got to have fats. Don't let anybody tell you, well, you need to stay away from fats. But when you stay away from fats, you're not going to have any in cholesterol. You're not going to have anything to help produce hormones. It'll lead to infertility. It'll lead to all sorts of neurological brain problems when you take fat out of the diet. It's the trans fats that come from things like fried foods, fried chicken that I used to love. Those kind of fats are very dangerous and very bad. And some of the other fats that they got in a lot of processed foods, those are the things we have to stay away from. But usually when I eat, I have at least a tablespoon. My wife and I both, she does the same thing, along with my food. To take fat out of your diet, fat works in the body like oil works in a car. You take the oil out of the car, you know what's going to happen. So when you don't have those fats in your system on a regular basis, those good fats that come from things like this, coconut oil, avocados, good fats that are in, I got to show you this one, y'all. Let me get my wife. There's something in my coat pocket I got to show you. Good fats are in there as well. Here's what I'm getting ready to show you here. I used to change my, here we go. Good fats that are in things like this. I eat 5 of these usually every day. Brazil nuts. Your fats are in your Brazil nuts. They're in your pecans. They're in a lot of the nuts. Daddy put them in there. And you notice the walnut looks like a what? Looks like a brain when you cut the walnut open.
That's true.
Because Daddy was telling us that the fats inside of it. You got a lot of foods that are shaped like the body. That we have lost that ancient wisdom. And we didn't just lose it, we were educated away from it. You gotta grab that. Because there's been a massive campaign to educate you away from stuff that is natural. Why? To get you educated into what is not natural. This is why they replaced, they're taking the wild salmon out and putting the farm-raised, genetically, the industrialized farm-raised salmon and tilapia and different other fish on the market so that you'll be educated into the bad because underlyingly it is part of a depopulation agenda. You can never lose sight of that. How many has ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones? Oh, Lord have mercy. The Georgia Guidestones. People live in Georgia and never even heard of the Georgia Guidestones in Elbert County, Georgia. Several stones that were put up in 1980 in 8 different languages, and in essence what they said is that we will have a population on this planet. This was 1980, so you know they were thinking further back than 1980. For them to put the stones up in 1980, they said that we will have a population of only 500 million people on this planet.
Oh, yeah.
We got almost 700 billion, I mean 7 billion. So they determined that we're going to depopulate. Henry Kissinger, 1973, with a 200-page report from the folk that worked under him, said that I'm concerned about the population growth in this country, that it's a threat to national security. So we need to put in place a depopulation agenda. That was Henry Kissinger, 1973. And he said the best way to depopulate so that we won't look so bad like what Hitler and those guys was doing was kill them softly. Killing me softly with bad things, killing me softly with fats, killing me softly with sugars, killing me softly with these things, destroying my whole life before time. Now I know I just revamped the words in it, but that's their agenda. He said we will utilize food as a weapon. And you can look it up. This is what I'm telling you, public knowledge. I got another report, March 3rd, March 11, 1969, from Planned Parenthood to the Population Council. Who ran Planned Parenthood? Margaret Sanger, who was a eugenist, who worked along with John D. Rockefeller, who started the Population Council. And letter from Planned Parenthood to the Population Council. And I submit to you all this, if I can find it here in this courtroom this morning. I submit the finding, and you can look it up on internet for yourself to see that Dr. Ellison is not lying to you or making these things up, that it is true. That they said that we will put fertility control agents in the water supply. If you could verify that, please, for us, sir, right there under that writing, and then you can go right down here, and you can see that, you can verify it.
What year was that?
March 11th, I think, 1969.
I remember reading something about that.
Wow. When that document came out, that we would put fertility control agents
in water supply.
See? Fertility control agents. And what was the date of the document again? So we can verify it before all these jurors in this court.
3/11/69.
3/11/69.
3/11/1969. Isn't it amazing that we got receipts that are out there now in some places that say BPA receipts? Anybody heard of BPA? BPA? See, now, and I'm glad, but I'm sad. I'm glad because you're learning it. I'm sad because we represent a microcosm of masses of people that we serve that have no clue on what's taking their loved ones out and degenerating their health, where they're trying to have healthy ankles, healthy knees, and all that stuff. But why am I getting sick? What is the causative factor of it? We have no idea that the enemy is in the kitchen. My doshata. Well, I felt the Holy Ghost. The enemy is being brought into the kitchen, and we're eating the enemy. They have no idea of BPA, which is a synthetic estrogen that hyperfeminizes women, that leads to breast cancer because your gangs of makeup, and feminizes men. We have no idea that there are gender-bending substances out there in our world of operation that are literally designed to bend our gender. If you're male, turn you toward being female. If you're female, turn you toward being male. These items are out there, and BPA is one of them. And in your spare time, you can look it up and back it up. Atrazine is another one of those gender-bending chemicals. Professor Tyrone Hayes, you might want to reference him. A few years ago, he was fired from University of Berkeley in California because an entity had hired him to go do some study on atrazine. He went and did the studies, came back with the information. We don't like the information that you brought back, but I brought the truth. Myself and many other colleagues, world-class scientists. Here is the truth of our finding. We don't like it. And we don't want this put out to the American public because we don't want the American public to know we got some gender-bending chemicals in their food and in their chemicals. Everything plastic has a number on the bottom. And found in this little triangle-looking thing. That number was not put there by coincidence. It was deliberate to tell us the toxicity level of the plastic.
Correct.
And you have those numbers from 1 to 7. 5 is the better number. When you start hitting on numbers like 3, 6, and 7, it's very, very dangerous. Now, none of them are heavenly, and you don't have a lot of problem until heat touches them. This is why they say don't leave your water bottles out in the heat, because the heat will cause the BPA that's in that plastic to seep over into your water or whatever it is. You know. Isn't this amazing? Now, I like your wife's expression like, okay, now who been getting over on this? I like that. Those are the things that make the workshop, the trainings worthwhile.
Yes.
Because people don't know. And you should be getting upset. You should be mad. And why would America let something like this happen? Control.
That's right.
No coincidence.
That's right.
We got some serious agendas going on.
Yes.
So, all right, let me move on so we can prepare to come to a closing. I even changed my mouthwash. I make sure I stop getting stuff that's got fluoride. And notice this here says gluten-free, fluoride-free, soy-free. Got to watch soy because
soy, especially for men.
oh my God, yeah. Soy, wheat, and corn are the 3 top genetically engineered altered food items that are out there on the planet nowadays. No artificial sweeteners, artificial preservatives, no sodium laurate, sulfate, things like that. So we change it. I make sure that, particularly as you hit toward the cold weather months, you want to help keep your immune system up. You know, and this is one reason I take 2 tablespoons of this all year round, basically.
What is that, sir?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C,
Yes, in a liquid form preferably, because they don't have to go through the digestive tract when they're in a liquid form. You know, and we don't realize it, but we spend more energy biologically breaking our food down than what a person does running 3 miles. So anytime you can get something in a liquid form, it's a whole lot better. You don't have to go through the digestive tract where the body's got to use more energy to break it down and all that stuff. It jumps right in the bloodstream and starts going to work. Along with the first regimen that I gave you, I do take every day because I forgot. Inside of that lemon cayenne regimen is this right here. Because I found out that African Americans in particular were too low on things like magnesium. Yeah, calcium, magnesium. And so I take this natural calm, helps the muscles relax, help keep the heart healthy.
Yes, sir.
It's a relaxing substance. Just like calcium is a relaxing substance.
Yes, sir.
That's why we got to be careful of excessive meats, excessive sugars, because those things push the body over into an acidic condition. Now, when the body gets over into an acidic condition, if you don't give it calcium, then it's going to take calcium out of the teeth and the bones.
That's what we have.
Because calcium is an alkaline substance to help keep us in an alkaline state. So when we eat a lot of processed foods, fried foods, chemical-laden foods, then the body goes into an acidic condition. And in order to keep us alive, then the body says, you're not giving me enough calcium, so I got to go, to keep you alive, I got to rob from Peter to pay Paul. So I take from the teeth and the bones. This is why you find people when they get older, because they've been on a certain lifestyle for 40, 50, 60 years. When they get older, they fall, break a bone, 6 months later they're dead. Because the calcium supply had been depleted over a period of time through ignorance. I mean, can you see how, if you don't get anything else, we've got to get this message to people.
Yes.
And you're not going to get it from mainstream health institutions.
No,
Because many of them don't even know. You know, see, I wasn't trained by them, and I'm not owned by them.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
but they don't know this. Many of them, they don't know this. But dear God, we got to get this information to the masses, particularly in the black community.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and so then lastly, I do take the vitamin D3, because a lot of times we don't get enough sunlight as African Americans particularly. You know, sun will help convert the cholesterol that's in your body to vitamin D if you get enough sunlight. And I take ginkgo biloba.
Yes, God knows what we need.
Ginkgo.
Lord knows I need it.
Brain food.
Brain, God, brain.
Ginkgo.
Brain food, circulation, I take that every single day. I mean, the ice cream lovers are around.
Oh, all ice cream right here.
Oh my God, this stuff right here, you gotta try it. It's called Agave Dream. They have the chocolate, they have the vanilla. Oh my God, this stuff, it'll make you want to eat the whole cup. It's only got 10 grams of sugar. And it's made from